Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our second information session of the day where you can ask Mary Baldwin students anything. I hope you're not sick of me yet because you're stuck with me for another hour. I'm Carly Fagan. I'm an admissions counselor here at Mary Baldwin. I'm so glad we're able to connect with you virtually during these unforeseen times. Don't forget, if you haven't already, you have until June 1st to complete your Mission MBU. Team Gray has taken the lead so far. We've extended our deposit deadline as well to June 1st and reduced our deposit to $100 to assist you during this pandemic. Today we have with us 5 of our current Mary Baldwin students coming from various backgrounds and areas of interest. In my opinion, one of our strongest assets on campus are our students themselves, and we thought you could hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Jamie, do you want to start us off?
Studying marketing and communications with a double minor in history and management.
All right, Geddy, your turn.
My name is Geddy Bartosch. I am a rising junior at Mary Baldwin. I'm doing a double major in business marketing and vocal performance. I'm from Stratford, Virginia, and yeah, that's what I do.
Danielle?
I'm Danielle DeVere. I'm a rising sophomore. I'm from New Baltimore, Virginia. I'm majoring in health sciences with a minor in music, and I'm part of the Virginia Women's Institute for Leadership here on campus, or VWIL, and the marching band here on campus.
Joey?
My name's Joey. I'm a rising sophomore. I'm from Berlin, Connecticut, and I'm a double major in performing arts, theater, and film, and a double minor in education and music.
And McKayla.
Hi, my name is McKayla Cotton. I am a rising junior, and I'm majoring in sociology with a minor in anthropology and a concentration in Spanish. So that's me.
Perfect. And Jamie, I am getting word. Jamie, I'm getting word that we were only able to hear the very end of your introduction. We don't want to miss out on you. So would you mind just repeating that really quickly?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, my name is Jamie Saunders. I am a rising sophomore and I'm from Valentine's, Virginia. I'm majoring in marketing and communications and double minoring in history and management.
Great, thank you so much for that. Thank you all for your introductions. And now that our audience knows a bit more about you, for this panel, we're really just going to open it up and you guys are free to ask students any and all questions. I am going to let the students do the majority of the talking. I'll help field questions to you all, so you'll know who is asking what questions. So students, be prepared. Questions are going to be coming at you, okay? Right, our first question. What is your favorite thing to do on campus? If each of you would like, why don't each one of you, in a quick summary, answer that question? We'll start with Jamie. We'll go in the same roundhouse that we did for your introductions.
One of my favorite things on campus is just kind of enjoying the scenery. You can walk around. There's so many opportunities to just find kind of that quiet area on campus to study or do work on your computer. There's just so much beauty to just enjoy while you're doing basic tasks.
One thing that I enjoy and miss about Mary Baldwin is the food, actually. I miss Hunt Dining Hall. I miss the Sushi Wednesdays. And yeah, I miss not having to do the dishes, but I mean, yeah, that's what I miss most about it.
I miss the community, to be honest. The one thing that we got to do on campus was one thing we have on campus is called Baldwin Program Board. They always had an event to go to. We had bingo nights at like 2 a.m. Those were fun. I loved that. There was a comedian that came in at one point in time. So there was always something to do and friends to go with you.
Danielle, you stole mine, but I'll elaborate more on that too. In the fall, we had a hypnotist show come through. And then also, I think it's the second Thursday of every month, Baldwin Program Board rents out the movie theater downtown, and you can get to see one of 3 movies for free, which I think is amazing because you don't have to worry about paying for the ticket.
All right, McKayla, your go.
Okay, so one of my favorite things to do on our campus, sort of like what Jamie was talking about, you know, like being outside is sort of like a park, in my opinion. So one of my favorite things to do is walk Scout, who has office hours and admission on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He's a golden doodle. So I don't know if you miss your puppy when you come to Mary Baldwin.
And McKayla, we just had our Dean's panel, so that had the provost as well. So why don't you say who Scout is, because everyone will be familiar with Scout's owner.
So on Tuesdays and Thursdays to admission. So I think he's about, what, 3 or 4 now? So, I mean, he's huge though, so huge. But I still think of him as a baby, but yeah, that's it.
And so I think the beginning part of that video lagged for just a second, but just so you guys know, Scout is actually Dr. Buckman, our provost's dog. And so like McKayla said, he has office hours in the admissions department. So make sure if you are wanting your puppy snuggles, you come to admissions. There's lots of coffee and dogs. So I don't know what more you could want. So Geddy, this will be a great question for you. In your opinion, is it hard to double major?
In my opinion, absolutely not. I mean, I'm a pretty busy guy because of it, but I enjoy being busy, and that was one of the main reasons I chose Mary Baldwin, was just their like eagerness to help me achieve that as a goal of mine. So it's absolutely totally doable, and like I'm doing 2 different total majors. And it's very doable, and I will graduate. So we're on the right track.
And Joey, what's your opinion? Because I know you're double majoring as well.
My double major is sort of similar to each other because classes I need for my theater major, I also need for my film major. So it kind of pairs up like that. And in my opinion, it works so much nicer out.
Great. Danielle, I'll give this one to you. Food on campus. I know Geddy said that that's one of the things he misses the most. So can you tell us a little bit about food on campus and your experience?
Well, there's 2 places to eat on campus. There's Hunt Dining Hall and the cafe. Hunt Dining Hall always has something different to eat every day. And they have like sushi bars, which is amazing. They'll have like a jelly bar, pizza bar, nacho bar, macaroni bar, and then just like regular food. And the cafe is open later into the night than the like dining hall. So like if you get back from class late, or if you get back from a sporting event late, the cafe is normally open. It opens normally 7 to 10 at night, or closes at 10, I'm sorry. And they have normally sandwiches and soups and stuff like that. So my favorite place to eat is Hunt, but the cafe is definitely a great place to eat.
Great. Now, Jamie, it looks like we do have a couple students. You know, this is questions to the students from students. Can you talk a little bit about social life at Mary Baldwin? What are things that you like to do on the weekends, during the week? The question is asking about, yeah, you know, what are things that you're interested in doing on campus and you come up with doing?
So like they spoke about earlier, BPB always has events on the weekends. So typically on Saturdays, they have some type of, normally they have a DJ sometimes or just an event to go to. So a lot of times we'll get together on Saturdays and we'll all hang out like before an event, and then we'll go as a big group of friends. Or when there's not an event necessarily going on through BPB, sometimes we'll just get together and go downtown, whether it's to the movies or just to eat at Shenandoah Pizza. It's really all about the community, even when it comes down to campus life, because you get close with the people that you even live on the hall with. So it's a lot of fun.
Great. And I think this is a good question for you, Joey, being that you were just a freshman and now you're going to be an RA. Can you talk a little bit about dorm life for your freshman year, and then maybe even, you know, why you're now choosing to be an RA?
Dorm life is, when I went into college, I thought I'm not going to make any friends. I'm going to be like the odd man out. It's not like that. Everyone in the building is eager to make friends because everyone's starting over, basically, coming into a new place. There's so many people to meet. And even if you don't, first off, connect right off the bat with one person, you might find something else that you might have different interests in. Like one of my closest friends likes sports, and I'm not a sports person, but we're still great friends. And I chose to pursue RA because I want to connect more with people and underclassmen, and, you know, plan events. RAs host events for their halls and for their buildings. I want to help organize those to connect the whole school as a whole.
I love that, being an admissions counselor. That makes my heart happy to hear. So Danielle, this one will go to you. I'm going to two-part question it because I'm sure a lot of people don't know one of the organizations that you said you're a part of at the beginning. And so I want you to dive into that as well as then talk about, you know, other clubs and organizations on campus. First of all, can you tell us about VWIL? And then can you just talk about clubs as a whole?
So VWIL is a leadership program here on campus. It's got a civilian and military track. So you can go to ROTC classes or just focus on the civilian setting, like focus on leadership skills in terms of resume, interview, and getting out into your career field. But you can also do the military track in terms of commissioning. VWIL itself is a Corps of Cadets. It's actually the only female Corps of Cadets in the entire nation, which we wear that title with pride. Yeah. So even if you're not part of the civilian track or the military track, you're like either one. We're just one big Corps of Cadets, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's the Corps of Cadets that I'm part of. And what was the second question?
Yeah, can you then just talk about clubs and organizations on campus then as a whole?
The clubs. So there is something for everyone at campus. I know like clubs that are, we have a thing called Club Rush that happens at the beginning of the year, and you get to go out and you get to see different clubs. We have things specific to your major or like what career field you want to go into, like social work I've seen, then things specific to your ethnicity that are awesome, so you can like be part of that, and it's awesome to see. And then there are clubs such as, if you're in marching band, they have a marching band flag color guard club. And there's a Dungeons and Dragons club I've seen, which is tons of fun. I am not a part of it, but it looks like fun from what my friends have said. We have tons of things, and there's definitely something for everyone.
Great. Now, McKayla, are you with us? I know it looks like you called in. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. So this is going to be a great question for you. What do you like about the culture at Mary Baldwin? Kind of, can you describe the culture of an MBU student?
Okay, well, yes, I think it's all about family. So family, community, making sure that you just have support. So you're leaving home, you don't have your family anymore, but as soon as you get to MBU, it's like you've got a family there, and your teachers and your friends, the people on your hall. There's like hall events going on all year long so that you can get to meet the people that you're living with and just form more connections. Then there's the clubs. Like Danielle was saying, we have Club Rush, so you can get involved a lot easier. It's just, I don't know, to me, there's always something going on, always a chance to go and meet someone else and build a closer connection, so you never feel like you're alone. So yeah, it's a family, community.
Great, and I love that. And kind of playing off of that, I'll kind of throw this out for any of you students to answer. So whoever wants it, jump on. Why don't you talk a little bit about how inclusive our university is? I see that there's a question about the LGBT community here on campus, and so that's something that I love about Mary Baldwin, is that we are a very inclusive university. So do one of you want to talk about, inclusivity at Mary Baldwin, and how there really is something for everybody here, and we are one big family?
I can talk a little bit about the LGBT community. I know that there is a club on campus called Souls. They put together events throughout the semester, movie nights. They had a drag race performance in the fall. There was supposed to be another one in the spring. They also sometimes go down to the, I can't think of the name of it, but it's the LGBTQ Center downtown. They have ice cream socials down there. They have I think it's a gala at some point. And there's also a safe house on campus as well.
Great, thank you so much. Oh, Danielle, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. So like coming in, I didn't have a big perspective on it because I come from a small town, but a lot of people on my hall are part of the community, and the amount of acceptance I've seen is incredible. No one cares. You are part of the MBU family, no matter what. They weren't rude to you. They just saw you as you were, and they accepted you for who you are. You didn't have to be part of the club to be accepted. I know the club, even if you weren't part of the club, going to the drag race, right? Drag race was awesome to see.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Jamie, do you want to talk to us a little bit about campus safety?
Yes. So last year played a sport. So a lot of nights I was coming back kind of late from the gym or from eating dinner. So I've always felt safe on campus. It's never been a matter of I don't feel like I can walk by myself, but they do offer lifts. You can call campus safety and they'll take you back to your dorm if you do feel uncomfortable walking from one end of campus to the other. There's also an app you can download on your phone, so you can have campus safety right at the touch of your finger. But like I said before, these are all great things that are offered, but I've never felt like I needed it. I've always felt safe on campus and didn't feel like I had to have an escort. There are also campus safety phones at certain places on campus. So if you know where those are once you get on campus, that way you always have kind of a backup plan if you don't use an escort. But again, it's so safe. That was a big thing for my family, that I attended university that was very safe, because walking around by yourself as an 18-year-old girl. So it definitely has a very homey feel.
I love that. Geddy, why don't you talk to us a little bit about your favorite place to go downtown?
My favorite place to go downtown. As far as food-wise, I would have to say the Split Banana, which is a gelato shop that's right downtown. They give you a lot of ice cream for the price, and it's really good. Well, it's gelato, it's not ice cream, but and it's really good, and they have a bunch of different flavors. So that's nice. A little further from campus is my favorite spot, which is Montgomery Hall Park. And it's about probably 1.5 miles away from campus, but they have around 6 miles of like inwood trail, and they have like disc golf, they have basketball courts, tennis courts. So I spent a lot of my time there. And as a little plug for the club that we just started, it's called the Weekend Adventure Club. It's an official club coming in next year. And we'll have around 14 events, and it's for people who love the outdoors and love spending time outdoors with other people. So that's another club on campus. So yeah.
I think I'm going to join. That sounds awesome. McKayla, this will be a great question for you because I always know you come into the office seeming like you have tons of energy. So talk about getting around campus. It looks like it's a lot of hills is one of the questions here. You know, do you think that our campus is super easy to navigate?
I think when you first get to the campus, you think it's like crazy awful because you're like, oh my gosh, just looking up and you're like stairs everywhere. But as you start to walk it, it becomes a lot easier and you'll be over here like, oh my gosh, look at my legs. Like you'll be really, you know, excited just to go outside and walk those stairs, which I know sounds crazy, but it really does get easier. I think probably the very first week I got to school, by the end of that week, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a pro. I know everywhere. So yeah, it was a lot easier after that first week. When freshmen first get there, you do have different campus tours and things. So you will have a chance to sort of get used to the campus. But after that first week or so, you'll have it down.
Great. So we'll throw this question to Joey. What are the classes like and how are the professors?
So our average class size is around 17 students. They cap off around 30, 25, depending on the class. Student to teacher ratio is 10 to 1. You know, all of the professors, they'll try to get to know you as best as they can during the class. A few of my professors, even before our fall semester began, they reached out to me through email and were excited basically to get to know me and meet me. And then they asked me if before the class, if I had any questions regarding any of the class requirements, anything like that. I had said no because I didn't have any at the time, but then they emailed me back and they wanted to have a conversation. So they'll go out of their way to basically talk to you as much as they can to make you feel welcomed on campus. And every class I've been in, I've always left the class smiling because I've had such a fun time in that class. They'll do activities to make sure that you're not sitting in your seat for the whole hour or however long the class is. They'll do activities to make sure that you're engaged.
Great. So this is going to be a question. We'll start off Geddy answering it, and then McKayla, I'm going to be a little biased to you two just because I see you when we're in the office all the time. Can you guys talk a little bit about the work study program?
I love the work study program personally. I got a really cool job down at admissions, and I'm an admissions assistant, so Carly sees me a lot. But I'm just in the office. I do pretty much whatever they need me to do. I worked like 3 hours last semester, but you can work up to 10. And it's just a really fun experience because you get that more professional side and more business side of life instead of just like the laid back college side. So it's a really cool experience.
Over to you, McKayla.
Okay, so I work as assistant to the Choose the Welcome Center coordinator. So a lot of what I do, you know, it's office stuff. It's answering phones, filing things, scanning things, but a lot of it I can use elsewhere as well. So it's not, you know, just stuff that I'm only going to use once in my whole life and never again. So when I'm applying for jobs and things, that's something that definitely helps a whole lot. So thank you, Sage. But I actually started off as a tour guide before actually working in the Welcome Center. So one thing I can say about Mary Baldwin is that it's really about who you know. So getting out there, reading your emails, seeing, you know, just different opportunities that'll present themselves. But a lot of what I do there is, you know, welcoming people, smiling a lot. So it's really not a hard job, but pretty much everywhere on campus, there's an opportunity to work somewhere. So say you're even interested in, I don't know, planning events. I know that, who is it? It's you, Jamie, yes. So you work right in the event office, helping Autumn coordinate events and things like that. But say there's something out there that, you know, just fits your personality, fits what you want to do in the future, you can definitely find a job on campus in various offices that'll just work that out for you. So yeah, lots of opportunities.
Perfect. And yes, I just wanted to reiterate that if you are interested in a work study position, you know, please feel free to reach out to your counselor and we'll make sure we get you connected with the right point of contact. It's our colleague Jennifer, and she'll be able to help you with that. The majority of staff members have work study students, so everyone in the admission office does. So yes, if you're interested, feel free to reach out. We would love to have you, and then you can get called out to do wonderful events like this. So Danielle, I'll throw this next question to you. This is something that I actually had never attended before until working at Mary Baldwin, which is sad because I am from the area. Can you talk a little bit about the Harry Potter Festival?
The Harry Potter Festival is an event held in Stanton, and like Harry Potter people come from all over to come see the events. We have shops open downtown. They have, like, I've seen chocolate frogs I've never seen before, which were crazy, and different kind of like events. I've seen Quidditch and like wand fights. I don't know much about Harry Potter, I'm sorry. But I have seen, yeah, so it's an event held on Stanton, relatively in October for Harry Potter fans to come out and see. And it's awesome because it's called Queen City Magic. And yeah, if anybody else knows more about it, they can speak to it.
Yes, feel free, whoever wants to jump in. If you're a diehard Harry Potter Festival fan, why don't you just talk on that for, 1 or 2 sentences?
I'm not a too diehard Harry Potter fan, but I had a blast. I volunteered. Mary Baldwin set up a little booth downtown as well, and I did quill lessons, like how to write with a quill, which was really fun. We also had like face painting set up, and yeah, like you could make your own wand at some booths. All the shops had like themed their whole entire store after Harry Potter, so it was a cool experience.
Great. Now, Geddy, we're just going to stay with you with this one because you are a student athlete. Why don't you talk about what sports are offered at Mary Baldwin and kind of what it's like being a student athlete at Mary Baldwin?
So the sports we offer, we have men and women's soccer, we have men and women's track and field and cross country, softball, baseball, basketball is coming. For men, we already have a women's basketball team. Men and women's tennis. I don't know if I'm missing any, but I play tennis for Mary Baldwin, and it's really fun being a student athlete. Being D3, you can kind of stay hardcore focused on your academics, but still have all the fun playing time and have all like the fun team time. Like taking trips, we went on 2 tennis trips before this whole pandemic happened, and like I was so sad that we had to stop, and I missed my team so much, but it's just fun. And like the only academic thing you really have to do with it is like you have to complete study hall hours as the team, but that's even fun because you're with your team and doing your homework, so it's really fun.
Another thing they just did is they opened up a women's triathlon team, and that's starting actually next year. It's pretty cool.
Great. I was going to add that in as well. Joey, what is something that you wish you knew before attending Mary Baldwin?
Ooh, you gotta make me think now. One thing I think I wish I knew, and I knew it, picked it up right away as soon as I got to campus, was the hours for dining hall. The hours for the dining hall, Monday through Friday for breakfast are 7 a.m. to 9:30. For lunch, it's 11 to 1:30, and then dinner is 5 to 7. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, we do a brunch from 11 to 1, and then dinner from 5 to 7. The only reason why I say I wish I knew that was I think it was the second day of classes, and my first class of the day was at 11, and I had gotten up at 9:30, and I was like, I'm gonna go get breakfast, and they were closed. So I learned that right off the bat.
Anybody else have anything to add to that one?
One thing that I wish I knew, and again, like Joey said, it came pretty quick, was not to be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, there are so many opportunities here, and like really all you have to do is just like walk into a building or like walk up to your professor after class and be like, hey, my name's so-and-so, like, thanks for teaching the class. And then like next thing you know, they'll shoot you an email and be like, hey, this really cool internship opportunity is here. Do you want it? Because you talked to me. And like, it's just, I wish I knew that sooner. But like Joey said, I picked it up pretty quick. But yeah, don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
And going off of that, Jamie, this will be a great question for you. Do you think professors are easy to talk to and helpful?
Yes, absolutely. I went to a really small school. It was K through 12, 350 people. So of course, going away to college, I was scared that it was going to be hard to make connections with my professors because I was used to being in classes of 10 people until I found out I wasn't saying goodbye to that. I was still going to be in the class with 10 people sometimes. But even when you're in bigger classes, I find myself, some of my professors, I go visit them in their office hours just because I feel like we've gotten to be friends on more than just a professional level. Like, they start to feel like your mentors more than they really do your professors. Because if you have a schedule conflict with what their office hours are and you shoot them an email, they'll be like, all right, you want to meet for coffee at 4 o'clock? Like, there's opportunities to meet up with them. They give you every opportunity and they're willing to change their schedule for you.
Even now with the whole pandemic happening, I still have received emails from some of my professors asking if I'm doing all right.
I love to hear that. Now, Geddy, sorry I'm throwing you on the spot again. I think because you're one of our local students, you may be able to talk on this. If not, like I said in the text that I just sent you guys, feel free to pass it off. If you're a commuting student, what does campus life look like for you? Do commuters take place in campus events? Kind of what happens for them on the life outside of academics portion?
Well, I'm actually going to be a commuter student this upcoming year, so this is a great question. As far as like events go, commuters are treated as on-campus students. Like, if BPB is holding an event, the commuters can absolutely go. And like, they have their own little like hangout area in Woodson, one of the dorms that's like huge and like got nice couches, got nice TVs. So the commuter student is pretty much just like a regular student on campus.
Great. Are any of you a part of the Women's College is a question. Jamie, I'll pass that off to you.
So yes, I am. I actually wasn't a member of the Women's College before coming to campus because I wasn't real sure what it was all about. Maybe that's one of those things I wish I knew more about before I came to campus. So the Women's College is really, it's kind of like a sisterhood, a mentorship program. So just for an example, the first 2 weeks of school last year, I got a big, which was very helpful because it was somebody that I just felt comfortable with asking questions. If you didn't have to necessarily go to a professor or a faculty member because you're new there, maybe you didn't feel comfortable going to an adult at that point. So having a big was really helpful because it was somebody who had been on campus longer, but you still felt like they were your peer. There's all types of fun events that we're planning for the fall in terms of theme reveals and little big reveals. So it's really all about sisterhood and community outreach, I would say. It's just a really great program, especially as a new student, to really get immersed in campus life.
Perfect. Danielle, this is kind of a two-part question. Is there a gym on campus? And then if you want, it's asking if there's a gym on campus to students a part of the ROTC program. So why don't you talk about the gym, and then why don't you talk about then the ROTC portion and what your workouts look like?
So yes, there is a gym on campus. Actually, it was recently renovated in 2019. The gym is beast, to say the least. And in terms of ROTC, we have ROTC classes are taken at VMI. So if you're in Army, you go once a week. Air Force, you go once a week. Navy, you go 3 times a week for classes and labs. And you have control time FTX. But for ROTC workouts, we have it 3 times a week. Twice with the core, once with the ROTC branch specific. So yeah, the workouts are specific to your branch. As I said, if you are doing like Army, so I'm Army, we do workouts, they go in cadence, they go off of that. So it's always specific to branch. If you want more information, I'd be happy to talk to you and ask your admissions counselor to give you my email.
Perfect, thank you. McKayla, is it hard to get around if you don't have a car on campus?
So no, not at all. The first year when I was at Mary Baldwin, I didn't have a car at all. So most of the time I just been walking around with my friends to like downtown Stanton, and I mean there's food everywhere. So it's really not hard. There's also little stores and shops and things. And then also the Food Lion and like 7-Eleven, I think it's Walgreens, right? They're all within walking distance of the school. So it might be about a 15-minute walk, which I guess to me seems really short. I don't know how you guys are thinking about that, but to me, it's really, you know, everything that you need is within walking distance of the school. There's also a bus station that picks up right outside admission. So if you need to ride a bus, that's also a possibility. We also have Lyft, we have DoorDash, we have Domino's Pizza, which is also within walking distance, but students will have delivery. So if you ever see the Domino's cars driving around and stuff, just know that is definitely a usual occurrence on our campus. So it does happen a lot. We just, you know, I don't know, it's easy, pretty much, in my opinion. And then my second year, I did have a car. So after that, I still sort of acted like I didn't have a car, just, you know, gas is expensive. So, but really, I don't know, living without a car really isn't that hard at Mary Baldwin. So, yeah.
I want to go off a little bit of what McKayla said about the bus. Your student ID, if you show the driver, you get to ride for free. And that there's a trolley around downtown, and then there's a connector point, which can bring you to Walmart. And then there's also another one for Waynesboro.
Perfect. Thank you for adding that in, Joey. Now, I know that you guys have all probably been asked this question before, your why Mary Baldwin. I know Sage is listening to this right now and probably smiling ear to ear. So we have a student who has asked, they're still trying to decide between a few schools. What was your deciding factor? So if you guys can each say your why, we will start with Jamie, and then I'll let you know who's up next.
So for me, I knew that I wanted to go somewhere remotely small, not a huge state university, but you think when it comes down to small schools, they're all going to feel the same, but that's really not true. When I had that moment, when I just stepped on campus, even as a prospective student, I already felt like the people at Mary Baldwin were taking me in as part of the MBU family. And it was important to me and my parents that I was somewhere that we were all comfortable with. I'm an only child, so my parents letting go of their baby was hard, of course. So they wanted to make sure that I was somewhere where there were going to be people looking out for me. And just having that sense of community made the transition so much easier, because when I said you can literally reach out to anyone at MBU, even if it's not a faculty department, they'll do everything they can to help you and lead you in the right direction to who you should contact.
Geddy, up to you.
So I visited campus like 5 times just because I wanted to make sure it was right for me, and I live like 20 minutes away from campus. But every time I came back, they remembered who I was, and they were still like as nice to me today as they were that day. So like the niceness doesn't fade as you stay at MBU. And one of the tours I sat in on a business class, and there were 15 other students in the class, and I sat down kind of in like the back corner because, you know, I didn't want to be like super noticeable. But as soon as I sat down, the professor engaged me in conversation. Like all the students engaged me as well. Like they were asking me questions, and like I didn't even go there yet. And I was like, if this is what it's like, I want this. So that's the main reason I chose MBU.
Joey, over to you, and why don't you even reiterate then, you know, where you're coming from, you know, being an out-of-state student?
So Geddy's only 20 minutes away. I'm about 10 hours away up in Connecticut. Being so far away, I never got to see the school until after I committed. And I was so worried going to see the school for the first time. I think it was like a month before move-in. I went to see the school, and I was so worried getting there. But as soon as I got there, McKayla was actually my tour guide, taking the tour and also meeting stage admissions. I felt so much better, and I knew it was the right place for me. In addition, I know I tell this to everyone on my tours, check out the surrounding areas of the school, check the downtown area, what stores are near, food places, all that, because that can affect your decision as well. For me, it was a no-brainer. There's a movie theater, and I was fine. So, but that can sometimes affect your decision because you might choose a school and then realize, oh, I'm stuck on campus all the time, stuff like that. So, oh, there's also, sorry about that. I also got there and realized that there's a Amtrak station in downtown. It's in walking distance from the school. I take the train home pretty much every holiday. And I think it runs south 3 days a week and runs north the other 3 days of the week. Something like that. So.
McKayla, over to you.
Okay, so when I got to Mary Baldwin for like my first visit, because like Geddy, I visited like, I don't know, 3-4 times before deciding to go. But the first time I went, I was trying to choose between Mary Baldwin and Longwood University. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. They're very similar. The terrain is definitely different, the mountains. But other than that, it was like they were both, you know, small time field. They were also close to my home. So my mom was like, you cannot leave the state. So that was a big factor. But when I got to Mary Baldwin, everybody kept introducing themselves to me. So, you know, students that were already there. And I like to think about is, you know, when I got to high school, none of the upperclassmen wanted to talk to the freshmen. You know, it's like, they're nasty, they're young, they're weird. You know, so it was really, you know, separated in high school. But then you get to Mary Baldwin and you have seniors coming up to you and saying, hey, what are you interested in majoring in? And they're all talking to you, learning about your life. They know how many siblings I have, where I go to school, what I'm interested in studying in. Like, they know my whole life before I leave. And so every time I came back, I just continued to get more information. On one of my visits, we also went downtown. We went and saw a show at the Blackfriars Playhouse. So that was, you know, very different. I was like, oh my God, this is, you know, crazy. Like, I never would have thought they had this here, you know? So just learning more about the town and the things that there were available to students on campus, all of that sort of changed my whole mind. And I was like, okay, no more Longwood. Everybody in my family still asks, why aren't you at Longwood? I thought you were at Longwood. So you can tell I was really in love with Longwood for a while, but going to Mary Baldwin completely changed my mind. Meeting the people, talking to them and hearing about their own experiences and just sort of developing relationships even before I signed up to go, just completely made it up for me. It was like, yes, this is the one and this is the only one. So yeah.
Great. Danielle, now to you.
So the thing that drew me to Mary Baldwin was the all-female Corps cadets, but the thing that made me stick here was when I visited, I received a handwritten note. And actually now I write the handwritten notes home because I'm a tour guide, and I got one from my admissions counselor actually, and from the tour guide that I went on campus, around campus with. And it was so sweet because, like McKayla said, they knew everything about my life. They really cared. They seemed to care about like everything. And I came back to campus, and McKayla actually gave me my tour when I was a when I was a prospective student. And it just really cool to come back and know that everybody knows me and cares about me. And they were all so excited to see me. And my admissions counselor texted me saying, hey, don't forget this, don't forget that. And my other school that I was interested in was West Virginia University, which, if you know it, is a completely different school. So coming down to it, it was really just, they really seemed to care more.
Great, thank you. Now I see we do have quite a few questions about our PEG program. So those of you asking about PEG, hi, I'm Carly. I'm who you probably talk to a lot. Can any of our students, address the PEG program? Do you have any PEGs in your classes? We're going to be wrapping up shortly, so if you can keep your responses brief. I'd like to get this question in and then one more. But why don't one of you kind of talk about what it's like to have a PEG in your classroom?
So through MBCW, the Women's College, I have come in contact with PEGs and didn't even know it. Like, they basically are in our classes, in our clubs. Yes, they have some guidelines in terms of curfews and things like that, but they get to live life at college just like all of us do during the day. They get to participate in everything, and really, you wouldn't know they were PEGs and unless they tell you, because they really look all about our age.
Part of VWIL, we also interact with them as well. And actually a PEG is currently in a high position, is I believe next year's, not the first captain, but class Congress chair, which is like a second in command kind of person. So we treat you as equal. It doesn't matter, you're taking college classes with us. Again, we wouldn't know you were PEG unless you told us. I've had you in class, like the PEGs in classes, and you're smart. You're pretty smart. You're like, I've actually went to tutoring from someone from PEG, so.
Great. And for those of you who do not know what PEG is our program for the exceptionally gifted. We accept young girls ages 13 through 16 to bypass high school entirely and come straight to college. If you have any specific questions about PEG, feel free to reach out to me. I am the PEG admissions counselor, and I'm happy to speak with you. I love talking about PEG. So we have time for about one more question. Your roommates. That is something that I know our deposited students are asking tons of questions about. Our students who are, really ready to make that next step. They want to know about the roommate selection process. When did you guys find out about your roommates? When did you guys get some of that housing information? We will have a talk with student engagement tomorrow that will go over that. But from your personal experience on roommates, if each one of you want to take, 30 seconds really quickly to talk about that, that would be great.
So I requested a roommate last year. It was someone I had met through my sport, and my coach had kind of connected us. So we found out in probably July, I would say, is when the official email came out about roommates. But that is also from, I was a freshman coming in, so I wasn't on campus. So that's how it worked for me, and I'm sure somebody else who was older than me can explain how it works for students who are already on campus.
Oh yeah, so I actually really lucked out with my roommate situation. I met my roommate Mary Baldwin asked us to do a photo shoot before we even moved on campus, and I met him there. And it turns out he went to my rival high school, and like, I don't know, we just really hit it off. And then we were both at the same Accepted Students Day, which is an event Mary Baldwin holds. And like, we just talked some more, and then we signed up, we requested each other that day. And then, yeah, about a month before move-in, they were like, yeah, you guys are roommates. And then we've been roommates since. This past year, how we got each other again was we just filled out a form saying we wanted to be roommates again. So, yeah.
And as I was a freshman this past year, I was also a bit worried about, I don't know how all this is going to work, stuff like that. I think it was about mid-July, beginning of July, sometime over the summer. Residence Life will send you an email with a link with basically, it's not an application, it's like a get to know you form of your sleep schedule, do you sleep with the light on, how messy are you, like stuff like that. And then from there, they will pair you up with who they think best fits you. And my roommate and I, we still talk all the time. Like, it was the best pair ever.
Okay, I'll go next. I was in a triple last year. I worked really well with one of my roommates and then really, really bad with one of my other roommates. I filled out the survey. I found it a month before. We contacted each other. We got to know each other really well over the summer. As I also said before, VWIL is housed together. And we're housed together throughout the entire year. It doesn't matter. Like, your entire floor is devoted to VWIL. So when I did not work well with this person, we talked to talked to the person on campus who moves people around, and within like 2 weeks she was moved out, and she found someone who she works well with. So like, even if you don't work well with your roommate, you will find someone who you do work well with. But me and my other now 2 roommates are really well working together.
Great, thank you guys so much. I just wanted to thank everybody for joining this panel. We are going to start wrapping it up. Thank you for being patient with us during any glitches we had today. This is a new platform that we are using. You know, never in life have we had to put on a full-blown virtual visit experience. So I thank you so much for working with us and being patient. We're so happy we were able to connect with you today. This is it for our information sessions that we have for the day. I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at 1 p.m. where we're going to be discussing life at Mary Baldwin with our Office of Student Engagement. And then following at 2 p.m. tomorrow, we will have a Money Matters conversation with our Financial Aid Office. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. All of these sessions have been recorded and will be posted on our website with all of the questions answered. So if your question did not get addressed, just know your question will be answered. Any questions, feel free to reach out to your specific admissions counselor, and we will make sure we connect you with the right individual and answer your questions. But I thank you all so much. Students, I thank you so much for taking this time out of your day, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Saturday.